So I found the best productivity browser hands down. Okay. And I know I'm just probably saying too much, and we don't even think about our browser. If you think about it, majority of us use Google Chrome. We've been using Google Chrome for years. I'm the guy that I used to use Internet Explorer. Okay. And then after that, Mozilla Firefox came out and I thought that was kind of cool. And then after that, I remember having like the first Gmail account. I used to tell my friends it stands for gangster mail. And then when Chrome came about, I thought Google Chrome was like everything, and I've never changed until I changed. And what I'm telling you, after I changed, what does Drake say? Thank me later. Okay. You're going to thank me later once I show you with the browser that I'm using now, And without further ado, as we continue on with the geeky side of Brian, all right. Last video, by the way, hopefully I sound a little bit better this time. I'm learning how to use this OBS Studio little thing here that has much better video quality than what I'm using when I screen record with Loom. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for some amazing stuff. Okay, I'm really about it. You got to try this out. You have to try this browser. Real quick, we have to understand where we came from before we kind of get a sense of where we're going. And also the few things that I look for in a specific browser. What I am trying to focus on is something that declutters. One of the things that we've noticed whenever we started using Google Chrome, and now we're using so many different tools and everybody's doing a million and one things, even when you have a meeting with somebody, they have a million and one tabs. Okay? In addition to having a million and one tabs open, they have a million and one saved links as far as favorites. Okay, people have folders. There's all kind of stuff going on. There's extensions. It just always looks busy. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm ADD, OSD, OCD, or whatever you want to call it. But some of this stuff it just gets messy. I'm so tired of looking at this, and when I open new tabs, I'm so tired of figuring out where to go. And it's just I'm trying to get something that can help me with decluttering. Can be a distraction-free zone. I can have separate spaces, or workspaces, or whatever you want to call it. And I can save my links, save my favorites in a very nice, clean way. Okay? Let me make that make sense. Decluttering. I don't want to see none of this mess. I'm so tired of looking at this mess. Distraction-free zone. This is so easily to get distracted. I manage I got like 4 different businesses that I'm trying to do. I have like a million and one email addresses that I all manage through G Suite. Some of them are managed through Outlook, so I got to sometimes log in through Outlook. This is my personal email. I got a business email. And then also with the CRM side of things, I have Pennington Consulting Group. I have Broker Solutions Academy. I have some other, crypto investments that I participate in. I have Capital Atlas. These are all separate CRMs sometimes that I have to navigate through. I have Calendly. Now, I moved on from Calendly since I'm on Go High Level. Shout out to Go High Level. Okay, we've been doing a lot of system changes all summer, as you can see. And there's certain tools that I use in order for me to achieve, my goals with PDF edits. I got certain affiliate accounts that I have to log into. There is a lot that's been going on with Google Chrome. Okay. And again, it's just been too much distraction. Okay. So I needed something more simpler. And as I was doing some of my research this weekend, and you're going to see with some of the conversations that I had with AI as to why this would be the most perfect tool. But without further ado, I know you've been waiting. Let me go ahead and introduce you to the new browser that I'm using from now on. Okay, drum roll please. I'm excited about this. Arc browser, and these are some of the benefits that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to put this to the side, but this is the Arc browser. Okay, this is what you see on your screen here, and I know it doesn't really look like much. And this is it right here. I don't know if you see it right on the corner, but it's got that little logo on the corner, Arc browser logo. But Arc browser is probably one of the most amazing browser. Actually, it is the most amazing browser that I've ever used as it pertains to from a productivity standpoint. And basically what it does, and it re-envisions what a browser is. We've been certainly programmed as to what a browser is supposed to look like, with the address bar being on top. They don't do that. Everything like that you wanted to do with the browser, Arc browser decided to do it differently. This video right here better explains this Arc browser. Let's watch this briefly.
No, but challenging the assumption of how the most basic fundamental parts of a browser work and saying this to the way everybody has been doing things for the last 15 years. You want to have multiple tabs, of course. So, you have tabs. They're here. So obvious. Well, no. This. Screens are horizontal. most precious space is vertical space. There's also so much free space on the sites and websites anyway, so let's put all the tabs to the left. Use the internet to browse for websites. Well, no, this. People actually spend most of their time on web apps, not websites. So we'll treat the browser like your home screen and allow you to keep up here with most used apps. And for web apps, you also get special thingies like calendar previews for Google Calendar, a preview of your last emails for Gmail, using the command bar for creating a new Notion page. People use their browser for work, for personal use, for multiple projects. So Chrome has these little profiles. Click here and you get a new window. Well,
Nope.
from this, people switch all the time among multiple projects, so we'll let you just swipe on your trackpad and scroll through spaces in the same window. Much easier. And we'll also give you this unnecessarily fancy color picker, so you would spend 1 hour tweaking the color of your browser.
Which I did.
This is the IKEA effect. It's when you assign more value and are more likely to use something that you have created or customized yourself. It's the same psychological principle that Notion uses. You want to
So, let me go ahead and fix this. Arc is very beautiful designed, and I'm gonna talk about specifically how I'm using Arc as a browser for us in the business lending industry. And again, one of the things that I do to kind of just paint the picture, and also I'll introduce you to how I got my Arc browser set up is. One, I run different businesses, and I needed a browser that can give me a completely different profile in each one of these workspaces or whatever you want to call it, or profiles. There's different browsers out there, but not that are, that are this very just in tune with what you want to do. Arc really reminds me of Apple, okay? Apple phones, even though I know an Android is a much better phone, is like, nah, I am not touching that thing, okay? Forget that. I got to use Apple. Apple just kind of thinks and knows what you want to do. And that's the beautiful thing about Arc. So I'm going to introduce you to kind of my setup, how I have Arc set up, how I am using it based on the different thing that I'm using it. And of course, if you're one of my students, or if you're considering working as one of my brokers, this is the browser that I'm going to be introducing and making sure that everybody uses. So one of the things that I love about Arc is, number one thing, it's called Spaces. You got to see it right here on the bottom left corner. There's a few different spaces that I have set up. If you see where my mouse is going, these are about 4 different spaces that I have down here. And each one of these spaces represent literally a whole different browser. And let me make that make sense, okay? I'm not talking about switching through separate tabs. I'm not talking about switching through different profiles as you can do with other different browsers. This is the only browser that allows you to isolate each one of the spaces. Let me make that make sense, because I don't think you really heard me, okay? This is the only browser. Let me put my face out there. And I'm going to confirm it and prove it to you here in just a second through my ChatGPT chat. I could not believe Arc is the only browser like it is. The only browser that allows you to isolate each one of the spaces with, as far as history, as far as cookies, as far as cache, everything is all isolated. Come on now, this AI camera is doing a little bit too much. Back up, back up, back up, back up. So now, going back to me explaining how I use my specific Arc account and how I got it set up. Of course, clearly you guys know, we all know we have a personal life, okay? So one of the first spaces that I have on there is my personal space. And as soon as I can get this thing set up, I'm gonna be able to get down there and show you kind of how I have everything set up. So in the bottom left corner here, this is my personal space. You got a little smiley face, and it's so customizable. The beautiful thing about Arc is, if you build it, you'll use it. But if you don't really build it, there's that detachment that you have with that, with that system. So I literally built this myself. So there's that closest that I have with Arc as far as customizing it. So you have a smiley face there, and this is my personal space. Most of the things that I have on here, and it allows you to, this is where you keep your favorites. And it works so much. If you can follow my mouse, instead of following me, follow my mouse. So the mouse will kind of show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let's get that to disappear a little bit. But these are kind of my favorites, and these are any kind of apps that I use on a constant basis. If I want to go ahead and get to my WhatsApp, it's right there. If I want to get to my personal email, it's right there. If I want to get to my Calendly, quickly navigate it to right there. If I want to get to my personal Google Calendar, it's right there. If I want to get to my ClickUp, it's right there. These are the apps that I use constantly. We all have those apps that we want to go ahead and get there quickly. So this is kind of what I call my home base. I call this central, okay? This is kind of the Pentagon, if you you want to call it. This is the central base of where where all of the different tools that I use are kind of all there. Now, very specific tools, each one of my businesses are stuck in their own spaces, okay? And they're all isolated, okay? So for example, right here, if I click the globe, if you look at my mouse on the bottom left corner, it says Pennington, okay? You have the first space, which is central. Then you have this is Pennington, and then you have this is Broker Solutions Academy, and then lastly, you have this is Capital Atlas. This is our lender database system. So moving at next is Pennington Consulting Group. Within Pennington Consulting Group, and I'm gonna go ahead and just clear all these tabs. These are kind of what you would see as open tabs in a regular browser. This is absolutely not a regular browser because you can see on top you have your URL, but when you click it, it pops right in the middle. It's completely different. It works almost just like an Apple app. It doesn't work like a regular browser. On the left side is basically where you have a lot of your action. And by the way, you can close this up so you can get a full screen of everything, as you can see right there, or you can open it up so you have your options right here. You still have your folders, very similar to what you would have with any other browser. And I have some of my saved links, very similar to what I have on Google Chrome, but I love how clean this is. Look how I can clean. You just close it up or open it up if I need to. And these are my quick browsers right here. And if I want to open up something different, I click right here. And if it's, let me just, there we go. If it's a separate link that is not saved up there, it's going to open it up right here. And if I want to open up a new tab, I can open up as many new tabs. If you can check on the left side here, as I open up this new tab, now there's 3. I'm gonna click right and open up new tab. Now there's 4. They're lined up right here. The beautiful thing about this is, to me, it's like out of mind, out of sight type of thing. If I'm not seeing it, then it's not there. So when I see that, if I see all these tabs open, I want to work to clear all my tabs before I end my day. And I just love how that's just so beautiful organized. But this is the Pennington world, if you want to call it. Pennington, every one of these tabs, I decided to create a chat GPT so I can have a chat GPT session in Pennington. Just like in the personal tab, if I can navigate left to go to central, there's a chat GPT and it's right on the left section. So it's like muscle memory. I know with every one of these tabs, I'll go to that first left and that's my chat GPT. Just like as you will see, the middle section is going to be the CRM and the right section is going to be the email address with every single one of these tabs. That's just kind of a chat GPT in an, what do you call it? Email address. The middle section is usually the CRM. I don't have a CRM in the central side of things, but I have a CRM with Broker Solutions Academy. I have a CRM with Pennington Consulting Group, and I have a CRM with, as far as the lender, Capital Atlas, our lender database feature. So this is just so easily navigatable, the way I can navigate through all of these things. And it's just so easy. Even my lender links, my submission links, when I'm trying to submit, it's just right here. And one of the things that I love, when I say I love this app, is one of these features that whenever you click something, anything, it doesn't open it up as a new tab. It pops it open. Do you see how that pops open? It pops it open as it would like your phone. So you have the option to do whatever you're looking at this, and then after you're looking at this, you get back right here and it closes it. Or if it's something that you really want to get into, you click it and look right here. If I look on the left side, if I want to go ahead and this is something that I want to get done, I can pop it open and it's going to open as a new tab right there, as you've seen on the left side. So I just love how this thing works. So once that thing is open, I can work on that until I get it done, and then I can close it away. As you can see, I just did right there. So the way it just pops those things open, and as you navigate through your CRM, it allows you to quickly focus on what you need to focus on. This is my CRM right now for Pennington Consulting Group. These are some of the clients that we're working with. As you can see, when something comes up, I can pop it open like that. If I want to click one of these, I can go right in there and deal with specific clients' information if I want to deal with that. But it's so easy to navigate. Broker Solutions Academy, you don't know how many times on Google Chrome, getting back to it, I'd have Pennington Consulting Group right here, Broker Solutions Academy CRM right here, and I wouldn't even know which one is what or what the heck is going on and whatever it is, and I would waste so much time with my mouse navigating through so many different things. And look how messy this is versus how clean this is, on this side, and if I can get it extra clean, I can just click that and just move everything completely away, And another great feature that this thing has is, you don't know how many times I'm trying to make a video, I'm trying to show a comparison, or I'm doing a Zoom and I want to make like a split screen, okay? This allows you to do a quick split screen. Click right here. You can do a split screen left and right, up and bottom. You can do all kind of a split screen. Let's say I want to do a split screen of my CRM and the chat GPT. Or this, what do you call it? this calendar thing that I just chose. Boom, right there. And it creates it as a tab. Once I'm done with it, I can just close it out. As you can see right there, and it goes back to my original tab. Let's say I'm trying to do this in ChatGPT. I'm going to click right here. And I'm going to say I'm going to add ChatGPT on the right side. As you can see, boom, nice and easy. I can save a split screen as a favorite on top. So in case if I ever want to deal with this split screen at any time, I can just access it by clicking that button. I can close it and remove, and boom. And anytime I want to access it, just come right there. It's really amazing what this what the CRM can, not the CRM, this browser can do, as you can see. So there's a ton of different benefits. These are just some of the different benefits that I've highlighted. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to show you with undisputed proof that this is the best browser you need to be using as a business loan broker. We talked about the spaces. We talked about the session isolation. Huge. Think about it like this, okay? If you're doing credit card stacking, you submit applications. You know that. You submit applications with multiple lenders, and you sometimes you don't want to clean the cookies and the sessions from one section of your stuff as far as your email address, because you don't want to be logging in and out a bunch of different accounts. But you want to be able to submit applications. You can literally have a specific space just for submitting applications. And you can clear the cookies, the cache out of that space, and it's not going to affect all the other spaces. You don't understand how huge that is. All right. So from a broker standpoint, it's big. The customization of the UI interface. And I love that the customization is just enough. I think too much customization is just too much. That's one of the things I'm not really big on with Android phones. They're just too customized. You can do way too much with them. Okay. So anyway, it's as far as its speed, its performance, it's really fast. It is built on Chromium, which means it has all the Google extensions that you may want. They do work on it. This app works amazing on Apple. It is available on on Windows, but it works really perfect on Apple. As far as pros, there's so many different pros. The true workstation isolation, productivity, first design, clean interface, just easy to use. It takes a little bit of getting used to because we're so programmed to, having all the tabs up top, having everything just line up there. So the left side just feels strange, but I'm telling you, it works. One of the best ways that I use it is, for example, when I'm working on some new leads. If you've seen my video about the CRMs, the new workflow system or Trust Funnel and how I built our internal workflow system, this is kind of the internal space here. So if I have new leads, all these new hot leads, let's say I want to come in here and I want to call all the new hot leads all at once, okay? What would happen is I would come in here and I would just click new tab. I would open up all these profiles right here. I'd open up all these profiles and look what's going on the left side. I'm gonna close this link up so I can look real clean. I'm stacking up all of these profiles right here. I'm gonna open up all of these profiles. These are all the new leads that I need to work. Okay, and as I open up all these tabs, what I'm going to do next is real simple. I'm just going to start from up top, and I'm going to start working each and every single one of them. I'm going to start working each and every single one of these. And as I work them, I'm going to close them out. And as I close them out, I get back to the top, and I know I'm done working with all these hot new leads, and I'm going to proceed on to the booked calls. You can see how, in practice, this can be very practical. Look at that, play on words. All right, so this is the best productivity browser, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. I was so amazed when I found out about this Arc browser that I just felt dumb that I didn't know about this. I don't know why. I was really upset with myself. I watched 1,000,001 YouTube videos about the Arc browser. I even went on a whole conversation with ChatGPT. Okay, so I said, what is the best browser for Windows for multitasking? It brought up Vivaldi, it brought up Microsoft Edge, and it brought up Arc. Okay, and I looked up Vivaldi. Vivaldi is a very powerful browser, but again, too many options. When I'm talking about too many options, Vivaldi is the Android of the browser industry. There's just so much that Vivaldi is trying to do. It's just ridiculous. It's way too much. Okay, let me zoom in here so you guys can see a little bit more of this conversation. This is going to be pretty interesting. You're going to see when I say that Arc is undisputed, okay? And if you're still here with me, you must really value this. And I promise you, drop a comment down once you tried Arc and it changed your life like it did mine. It definitely increases your productivity, I would say by 50%. And that is a big claim. So check out this conversation that I had with ChatGPT, okay? So it brought up Arc browser right here. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Final recommendation, they recommended Vivaldi, and then I saw some videos about Arc, people praising Arc like crazy, and I was like, and then everybody was talking about Arc is very similar to Zen, and I'm going to talk to you about Zen. Zen is a very similar version of Arc browser, but it's built on the Mozilla Firefox. Arc is built on Chromium. Zen is a little bit more customizable. It just doesn't really. It does not have the true isolation. That's just it does not have this true isolation. Arc browser, as far as the splitting, it works very much the same as Arc browser. As far as the way it splits, but it doesn't have the isolation. It's inspired by Arc, Zen inspired by Arc, but built by Firefox values: privacy, extensibility, flexibility, high customer. And the beautiful thing about Arc is it's built on Chromium, but they have some privacy tools. The reason why people go to Mozilla is because of privacy. But Arc has those privacy aspects built on it, but it's built on the Chromium platform. Now, moving on. So, split views. This is kind of the comparison between the two. They're very much the same. As far as you can customize Zen a little bit more, but it's very kind of cheap looking. Is Arc still supporting browsers with updates since they decided to focus more on their new project? This is what really broke my heart about Arc. I found out that Arc decided that they stopped basically working on Arc, and now they were focusing on their new AI browser called Dia, which is completely different than Arc. It doesn't even focus on the productivity like Arc does. And they're trying to build, I think that the spirit of the team over there at Arc, and I believe that they're wrong. They don't believe that Arc would be, go to be a 1 billion used browser like, Google Chrome. And they decided to build something that I think they think it's going to grow to be bigger than Google Chrome. In my opinion, it was just ChatGPT with a nice face on it, But Arc could be amazing, especially with this world of everybody's going to be working. And from a productivity standpoint, I don't see anything like Arc, as you can see in this conversation here. So yes, Arc's basically, I was concerned when I found out that they don't do, they're not still working on Arc as far as building and adding more features. And I don't really think it needs anymore. It's just what we need. Arc still receives security updates through Chromium, but they're not really working on any kind of releases. So moving on, I asked ChatGPT, can you tell me more about Dai? Dai is that new browser that this company is working on, the company that developed Arc. Really, it's just an AI browser, as I explained to you. It's completely not even close to what Arc is. Then I found out about Surf browser. It's a comparison to Arc, but Sharp. I don't think it's available on Windows. But anyway, it didn't even do anything close. I went ahead and I got back to Vivaldi, and I was asking ChatGPT, because Vivaldi had this futures options. They had a lot of the different things that Arc provided, but it had way more options. And I didn't want to sit here just trying to build it. It's just way too customizable, which Arc is customizable, but the things that you want to customize, like, the different spaces that I have, partly one of the themes that I have is each space has its own theme and its own color. As you can see, if I navigate through each one of these spaces, I'm gonna move my screen just right there so you can see it. This is my home. This is the central hub. As you can see, it's kind of green. When I go to Pantech Consulting Group, it's kind of purple there. Broker Solutions Academy kind of got that blue. The Lender Database kind of got that dark blue there. So each one of them, you have the customizations that you need, that are useful, but nothing you don't need. Is one of the things that I love about this. So as far as Arc, but Vivaldi was just too customizable. But again, Vivaldi did not have the isolated spaces, because this is isolation with spaces, but still one browser. All of these, like even when you go to Google Chrome, the spaces are isolated, but it's still connected as far as the history and so forth and so on. So moving on, ChatGPT came to the conclusion. Does ChatGPT have a Google plugin? So I asked ChatGPT because since Arc is built on Chromium, I decided to ask ChatGPT, does ChatGPT has Google plugin? And it does, which means that I don't know what the hell these people at Arc were thinking. Because if ChatGPT has Google plugin, then Dai, they're so focused on this experience that they want to give people on Dai with ChatGPT, and I just don't get it. They could have built that in Arc, but I believe they said that they were not able to achieve that in Arc. But I don't know. Maybe they can create another different plugin. It's just crazy how they can just let go of this amazing browser. So I went ahead and told ChatGPT, I need to find flow in Arc is the best option. I need to figure out, I think is what I was trying to type here. If Arc or Zen is the best option for me, I need something good for multitasking since I have constantly switching from Pennington sub account to Broker Solutions Academy. Want something clean and easy to use. I don't care much about the customization, just care about the spaces, favorite links, and being organized, okay? ChatGPT say, got it. Since your priority is clean multitasking between two accounts, Pennington sub-accounts, and Broker Solutions Academy, you don't care much about the customizations. You want something simple and keep spaces and favorites organized. Here how Arc and Zen browsers stack up. So it went ahead and told me about Arc and Zen. So I came in, okay, Arc and Zen, all right? Well, Arc go obsolete since nobody's working on it, okay? It's kind of what I was really worried about. And they told me, no, Arc is not going to go obsolete. They're going to maintain all their updates. Yes, give me a migration strategy. Let me see here. Zendia, let me see what other Zen, which browser has spaces like feature. Great question. I think we already covered that, talking about the different browsers that have the space-like features like Arc. Can you tell me if Vivaldi is better than Arc? So I asked this right here, because everybody kept on talking about still Vivaldi. Can you tell me if Vivaldi is better than Arc? If you're considering whether Vivaldi is better than Arc, here's a focused comparison to help you decide, especially if you need clean multitasking between accounts, fussing over customization. So I came up with a chart again, okay? I'm just keep going back and forth, because the thing is, I don't want to choose a specific browser and have to switch after I've already fallen in love with it, because I've been with Google Chrome for like 15 years. That was one of my difficult things. It's been a challenging summer. From having to switch from CRMs, for having to switch, my learning management software from Kajabi, for having to switch, my training. Now I'm switching browsers. I mean, everything. It's like everything is changing. It's really crazy and it's insane and it's a little bit of a headache. So I want to be very careful as to the decision that I make. Does Arc isolation cookie sessions per workspace? Great question. Key difference between Arc and the other browsers like Vivaldi. Arc workspaces, session isolations. Spaces in Arc distinct environments. Each space is an Arc. It's its own pinned tab, bookmark, favorites, themes, but importantly, cookie sessions are isolated per space. No other browser does this, okay? Look at this chart right here, and I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop on my ChatGPT stuff. Every single browser does not do this other than Arc. Arc, what is wrong with you guys? How could you guys give up on such a browser? Okay, this is huge. I don't know if I'm the only one that think this is huge. Okay. Will Arc new browser even have spaces? You're wondering if Die first browser? No, Die is not going to have spaces, okay? Die is a stupid browser. I mean, no disrespect to what they're building in Die, but I just don't think it's even close or even comparison to Arc. And I know I'm talking so much, so I'm going to slow it down, okay? You can see my excitement when I talk about Arc. So I went ahead and asked ChatGPT again, does any other browser other than Arc isolate beyond your spaces but actually have separate profiles to give you the browsing experience to fill completely different spaces, especially when you're running multiple businesses like Broker Solutions Academy, Pentax Social Group, and Personal Space, but does not mesh the spaces' browsing experiences? Excellent question. You've nailed it. The nuances between spaces, okay? If this matters a lot to you, juggling multiple businesses, Broker Solutions Academy, Pentax Social Group, Plus, and don't. Number one, Arc browser. Number two, he told me, if Arc doesn't work, go back to Google Chrome. But Chrome has no built-in spaces concept. You'd have to manage everything through profiles, as you can see right there. So Arc. Every single thing that I was doing was coming back to Arc. Okay, look at this other comparison that he gave me right here. Spaces, yes. True profile isolation, yes. Multitasking businesses, Arc. Yes, Arc. Google Chrome as well doesn't have no true isolation, just tabs and groups. It's everything comes, will Arc Mobile sync to the desktop? Yes. Okay? I mean, this is the most remarkable browser there is. I love that since you understand that I'm trying to do, would you recommend any other apps? Okay, this is whenever I'm just kind of getting busy, but I want to just kind of close in this. Okay. Right now, we're moving in an age where we're being... Our time is being valued based on how much we can produce. It's not about how much time we clock in. Maybe some jobs still have that, how much time you put in. But especially in the entrepreneur world is how much are you really producing? That's basically what it comes down to. You're paid based on how much you produce. I'm paid based on success. So it's Arc browser gives you the ability to increase your productivity, okay, by getting rid of a distractive working zone, decluttering your visual environment, separating all the different workspaces and allowing you to basically work in peace. I don't know how else to put it. Okay. I know this is a very long-winded video, but I wanted to get geeked up on y'all before I went back to regular OB. Okay, talking crap on here. But I wanted to geek up on on y'all. Just try Arc, man. Arc browser. It's an amazing browser. It will take some getting used to. There are some glitches when you download it first, especially on Windows. You have to kind of, if it gives you any kind of glitches, delete it and re-download it again. If you have a Mac, I'm considering switching to Mac. You know, there's a guy that switched to Mac because of the Arc browser. You know, just simply because of his browser, and I can understand why somebody would do that. Because of Arc, and this guy, I've actually fallen in love with this channel. You know, he actually got some really cool videos and content as it pertains to productivity that are really cool.
Control my life, not me. You might be
This is the gentleman right here.
I was a Windows user, a Chrome OS user, and this was literally the thing that made me say, okay, I actually need a MacBook now. I need to use this software.
And me being an Apple brainwash person was like, finally, come over to the side.
And I'm like, it's not you, it's not Apple, it is Arc. Like,
That's powerful. For you to switch your browser, for you to switch your operating system because of a browser, I can definitely understand though. And I'm seriously considering for my next laptop to even be a Mac just because of this browser. That's how huge and impactful this browser has been. So anyway, I appreciate you for joining me today. If you like these type of geeky videos, drop a comment. Maybe I'll bless you with a geeky video once in a while. But hopefully you guys appreciate some of this content. And if you have, great. Go out there, use Arc, and go be great.